I started by pulling down material that I thought I could use. 2 2x4s that will make up the legs, these 2 1x6s, I think they're select pine, as well as this 1x12 that I have no idea what it is. I first grabbed the 2x4s and ran them through my table saw in order to cut off the rounded edges. Then I cut each 2x4 directly in half. Now I knew I wanted my table to be 36 inches tall, 3 feet, and I also knew that I was going to be using 3/4 inch material for the top, so I made all of my legs 35 1/4 inch long. Next I grabbed a sheet of 3/4 inch construction grade plywood that I had, set my fence to 6 inches and cut 3 strips. 2 of these strips will be made into the front and the back, and the third will be cut up to make up the sides. I started with cutting up the pieces that would make up the sides. I made mine 9.5 inches long. Using my Craig pocket jig, I drilled 4 pocket holes on each side. Then, roughly finding center, just kind of eyeballing it here, I screwed it in place. After both sides are attached, I take it inside to test out the depth. Walking through, fine with that. Walking through with arms out, still fine. What about the closet door? No interference. Well, I see no complications. Let's continue. Next I cut 2 pieces that were 1.5 inches wide by 9.5 inches long, 2 pocket holes, came up 4 inches, and then screwed it in place. Then I grabbed the pieces that would make up my front and back and cut them to 43 inches. This way my table would end up at 4 feet long. Put them in my pocket jig and drilled 4 pocket holes on each end. Next I clamped them in place, again roughly in the middle, and then screwed them down. I grabbed the other side and repeated the steps. Flip it over and repeat on the side, without letting it fall down. Now for making the top. I wanted my top to have a 1/2 inch hangover on the front and back and an inch hangover on the left and right, so I cut my boards to 4 feet long exactly. Next I took the boards and cut them into 4 boards at 3 7/16 each, just because I thought I would like the final look of it better. I then took the boards and glued them, clamped them, and then let it sit until it was dry. While that was drying, I decided to make the drawer faces. I grabbed a 1x4 scrap board and cut 3 lengths of 9 inches. Then used a Roman ogee bit in my router to quickly go over the edges. Next I gave the bottom board the same treatment as the top. However, I only cut 3 strips at 3 1/16, and I also cut them to be 46 inches long. While the bottom was drying, I was able to start sanding on the top. It was at this point that I realized I forgot to drill the pockets that would attach the top, so I flipped my unit over and drilled my pockets. I put the top face down and then laid the body on. Then I took my tape measure and then just moved it in place where it was exactly where I wanted it, and then simply screwed it down. Then I sanded a little on the bottom and then put it in place. To attach it, I first drilled 2 pilot holes and then put in 1 1/4 inch screws. To attach the faux faces, I came in 4 inches from the side and then also spaced them apart 4 inches. Put some glue on the back and then put it in place, making sure that it was 1 1/4 inch down from the top on both sides. Before staining, I decided to put on a coat of this pre-stained wood conditioner, wiped off the excess, and then came back with a red mahogany stain. Then for the body, I put on a coat of primer and 2 coats of Antique White by Behr. I picked out some hardware that I thought would look okay, found center, drilled a through hole, and then simply attached the hardware. Last thing, just to add a little bit of protection, was to add 2 coats of polyurethane. And now I have an entryway table. If you need a small table in any of your spaces, I really encourage you to take on this project. Even though it might seem intimidating, it is actually very simple. I still need to make decorations for it, but I did put some things up here just to get an idea on how it was going to look. So leave me your thoughts below. I love hearing from y'all, and I'll see you next time.